Sir Gawain and the Green Knight, translated by John Gardner. As Sir Gawain and the Green Knight opens, King Arthur and the Knights of the Round Table are feasting. Suddenly, an enormous green stranger bursts into the hall. King Arthur greets the Green Knight and asks him to state his business. The Green Knight, after a few scornful words about the manliness of King Arthur's knights, says he only wishes to play a New Year's game. He challenges any knight there to agree to exchange one blow for another. He will even give that knight his guisarme, his two-bladed axe. The stranger says he will stand for the first blow. The knight must agree to let the Green Knight have his turn in a year and a day. Gawain accepts the challenge. No other knight except Arthur himself has dared to, and Gawain refuses to let the king risk his life. Part 1. On the ground, the Green Knight got himself into position. His head bent forward a little, the bare flesh showing, his long and lovely locks laid over his crown, so that any man there might note the naked neck. Sir Gawain laid hold of the axe and he hefted it high, his pivot foot thrown forward before him on the floor, and then, swiftly, he slashed at the naked neck. The sharp of the battle blade shattered asunder the bones, and sank through the shining fat and slit it in two, and the bit of the bright steel buried itself in the ground, and the fair head fell from the neck to the floor of the hall, and the people all kicked it away as it came near their feet. The blood splashed up from the body and glistened on the green, but he never faltered or fell for all of that. But swiftly he started fraud upon stout shanks, and rushed to reach out where the king's retainer stood, caught hold of the lovely head and lifted it up, and leaped to his teeth and snatched up the reins of the bridle, stepped into the stirrups of steel, and striding aloft, he held his head by the hair high in his hand, and the stranger sat there as steadily in his saddle as a man entirely unharmed. Although he was headless, on his teeth he turned his trunk about, that baleful body that bled, and many were faint with fright. When all his say was said, he held his head in his hand up high before him, addressing the face to the dearest of all on the days. And the eyelids lifted wide, and the eyes looked out, and the mouth said just this much as you may now hear. Look that you go, Sir Gawain, as good as your word, and seek till you find me as loyally, my friend, as you've sworn in this hall to do, in the hearing of the knights. Come to the Green Chapel, I charge you, and take a stroke the same as you've given, for well you deserve to be readily requited on New Year's morn. Many men know me, the Knight of the Green Chapel. Therefore, if you seek to find me, you shall not fail. Come or be counted a coward, as if fitting. Then with a rough jerk he turned the reins, and haled away through the hall door, his head in his hand, and fire of the flame flew out from the hoofs of the foal. To what kingdom he was carried no man there knew, no more than they knew what country it was he came from. What then? The king and Gawain there laughed at the thing and grinned, and yet it was an affair most marvelous to men. The next year, just before Christmas, Gawain sets off to honor his pledge. Through moors and forests and mountains he rides, searching for the Green Knight. One day, he comes upon the most beautiful castle he has ever seen. The lord of the castle welcomes him and promises to help him find the Green Knight, but he urges Gawain to rest a few days in the castle with him and his lady. Gawain's host then proposes an unusual game. He will go hunting each day. Whatever the host wins in the hunt, he will give to Gawain. In turn, Gawain must promise to give the lord whatever he has won that day. Twice the lord goes hunting, and each time the lord leaves the castle, his wife secretly visits Gawain's room and tries to seduce him. Though Gawain resists the ladies and exchanges only innocent kisses with her, he is becoming greatly alarmed. When the host returns from his hunts and gives Gawain what he won that day, Gawain, true to his promises, gives the host the innocent kisses in return. Now the lord goes out to hunt for the third morning. Gawain is in his room asleep, worried about many things. From the depths of his mournful sleep Sir Gawain murdered, a man who was suffering throngs of sorrowful thoughts of how destiny would that day deal him his doom. At the Green Chapel, where he dreamed he was facing the giant, whose blow he must abide without further debate. But soon, our rosy knight had recovered his wits. He struggled up out of his sleep and responded in haste. The lovely lady came laughing sweetly, fell over his fair face and fondly kissed him. Sir Gawain welcomed her worthily and with pleasure. He found her so glorious, so attractively dressed, so faultless in every feature, her color so fine, welling joy rushed up in his heart at once. Their sweet and subtle smile swept them upward like wings, and all that passed between them was music and bliss and delight. How sweet was now their state, their talk, how loving and light, but the danger might have been great. For that priceless princess pressed our poor hero so hard, and drove him so close to the line that she left him no choice, but to take the full pleasure she offered, or flatly refuse her. He feared for his name, lest men call him a common churl. But he feared even more what evil might follow his fall, if he dared to betray his just duty as guest to his host.